harmful left.
What's up, y'all? About to get started right now. We close all these goddamn windows. Close Zoom. Close that. Close that. Close that. Close that. Closing all that background shit, you know? Here we go. What's up, y'all? Thank y'all for joining Tethered and Torn. Tethered and Torn. We see 2024. The tethers, I mean, it is coming out. Y'all know me on this channel. I don't push the tether thing too much. I'm more of a holistic house cleaning the coons. But due to recent events, today's talk targets the tethers, you know, and I'm fair and balanced. You know, I've been going hard on Jay-Z. That's an FBA Puffy. Both of those are FBA toe touchers, if you dig what I'm saying. And they've been getting to work. You know, LeBron's been getting to work for promoting people like Fat Joe and for making the NBA soft. So anybody who harms black society in a mass level gets talked about, you know. Well, yeah, I stay talking about white supremacy, and I stay talking about that. You know, I calmed down because that whole election cycle, I was talking about that between Joe Biden and Trump, two thug, degenerate white supremacists. You know, we talk about everybody on this channel that overall net harms black society. So with that being said, I don't want none of you corny ass tethers, and does not go to all immigrants. As we know, this does not go to all immigrants. This does not go to the cool immigrants that just minding their own goddamn business, loving their families, making their money. This don't apply to y'all, and y'all know it. Well, my following, I don't even have to explain to y'all because y'all smart. But it's new people here, so I got to explain to the people who are new. But to the people who want to claim hip hop for anything other than 100% black American, you who I'm talking to. I'm talking to people about a group of people who get into politics like Obama and Kamala and tell us what we not gonna get as black people. This is about those like Busta Rhymes saying black Americans have no culture. This is about the people like Nephew Luke saying that, black men get murdered in the streets because we didn't vote for Kamala. Nephew Luke. This is for people like Drake, who's truly not like us, who want to bring lawsuits in when you lose an ass whooping. This is about people like this. This is about people like whackademics going around trying to still claim hip hop for other cultures, talking shit about Black Americans. This is for people like Lazy Legs that want to come around places. What's up, 1010 Farms? That want to come around places and talk shit about Black Americans. This is people like Joy Reid, just because she looks like Dennis Rodman. And this is for people like Sonny Hawkson who want to talk shit about Black men and while still playing black. This is about that style immigrant. Or anchor baby. And yes, I use the term anchor baby because when I grew up in the 90s and the 80s, they used it all the fucking time on the news. Press number 1 if you feel me. Press number 1 if you feel me. Back in the 90s, we heard that shit all the time on the news. The hard copy. Our anchor baby is going to take over American jobs in 30 years. That was an episode of A Current Affair if you was around back in 1994. So, this is about that contingent of people. So, this is what we're talking about. And here's another reason why you guys can take it, Tethers. You come into our community, no matter how nice we act, people still talk shit about us talking shit. Oh, they talked about me when I was a kid. Well, you didn't learn a lesson to learn how to let that shit roll off your back roll off like water on a duck's back. You took that in. You still didn't learn a lesson. So this is what we talking about. This is what we talking about. So somebody said Tethers sounds racial. Well, America is racial, you dumb fuck. Wake up. So back to what we talking about here. So this is about the Tethers imploding. And when I start off by saying, welcome chat room, welcome, welcome, welcome. I appreciate y'all for joining. I appreciate y'all for coming up in here. Salute to my mods. Salute to everybody up in here. And if somebody comes in asking the same question and being a fucking weirdo, we're going to talk shit about them too. You dig? So let's first start out on Tethers exploding. Let me say something real quick. Let me just come out the bat right now, because this always tends to really fuck the Tether mind up. There's absolutely nothing. Let me get on the big screen here. There's absolutely nothing brought from your island or country of origin to Black America that in any way, shape, or form created hip-hop. Period. Kool Herc came here as a child. He didn't bring anything but white jeans and church shoes and an accent. And when he DJ'd and got his sound system, he went down the street to the local store where everybody else got their sound system and bought one in New York. Okay? Let's be very clear. Because see, some people I get it, as Black folks, we're very accommodating and welcoming. Let me turn some music on. There we go. Gotta get the groove going. As Black people, we're very, how can I say this? Accommodating group of people. We'll say things not to hurt your feelings, even though we crack jokes. We'll say things like give you credit, say, oh yeah, Latinos, Jamaicans, they were around You know, a few years later, they would be at the parties. They would be dancing. You know, there was Jamaican DJs. So, you know, I'll give them some credit. Let me tell you right now, I ain't giving you credit for shit. I appreciate the super chat, mini FBA. And let me tell you why I'm not giving you credit for shit. I'll make it very clear, make this scholarly. Because whatever you brought or think you brought to the game, it's because you observed a black American doing it already. Let me go one step even further. Especially if you're Jamaican. Your so-called sound system culture, your so-called DJ culture, your so-called toasting culture. That was all of that came about when your family was coming to America during World War II, picking the sugar cane in Florida. And your family, I appreciate the Cash App, Starlet Thompson, much appreciated. When your family came to America to pick the sugar, they observed black Americans going back and forth, talking a little shit, having a little fun, you dig? And through that observance of our culture, went back to their culture and did the same thing. I got a couple of videos I want to send you. I got an airdrop. I'm airdropping myself. I got a couple of videos. I'm airdropping myself so I can play some examples for you, okay? Because I want to give y'all some examples. Oh, shit, I think I airdropped too much. You know what it is when you pick too many files? I picked I picked 3 video files. Okay, they're coming. Okay, cool. That's one. And then I want to send you, I want to give you some examples, okay? I want to give you some examples. I want to show you from your people, from their mouth. You guys were observing us. I mean, and then they took that stuff back home. Let me see if I can find the video clip. Let me see if I can find the video clip. Here it is. Is this it? Here it is. This is and I think this is from our brother DJ Faze's channel. Salute DJ Faze. Listen to some of the stuff.
Song and try to sing it. We would listen to a Dionne Warwick song and try to sing it exactly as Dionne did it.
Hear that? We would hear a Dionne Warwick song and try to sing it exactly like Dionne Warwick would sing it. And this was fairly common.
And the shuffle and thing like boogie and the shuffle and thing like that, we realized that we were definitely swatting or copying the American stuff. We did some rhythm and blues, tried to copy the rhythm and blues with that driving beat.
It was all about rhythm and blues.
Hear that? This is from the early days of your people. Watch this, the start of toasting.
that music back in the 70s and late 60s. The reggae artist was rapping on that music back in the 70s and late 60s.
Coxsone sound system was a sort of sound system to create disc jockeys that would use the microphone in between records. All the other DJs before our time, they would only just put on the records or either dance with a girl or drink a beer, but it wasn't anything exciting.
Well, I'm Clement Dodd, better known as Sir Coxsone Downbeat, Master of the Royal Society of Jazz and King of Sound Systems.
Well, when you were growing up, that was their music in the house?
Well, yes, we had Martha Richards radio, and we used to listen to the foreign station a lot.
They asked him what music was going on in your house growing up. He just said we used to listen to the foreign station all of the time. Let's listen to some more.
Like Voice of America, listening to people like Billy Eckstein and Sierra Vaughan, Lionel Lampton, Louis Jordan, you know.
Louis Jordan, huh? Hold on. Is Louis Jordan not the person I'm always teaching y'all about? The founder, the father of R&B? Louis Jordan? The rapper? Singer? Huh? Is it that Louis Jordan?
Take it right back to the track, Jack. Choo choo, choo choo, boogie, woo woo.
That Louis Jordan? Oh, the same Louis Jordan that was James Brown's primary inspiration was also Coxsone inspiration. So I'm not saying this to talk shit to Jamaicans, to people from the Caribbean. I'm saying that all this bitching y'all doing, it's over with. This shit ends in 2024. 2025 is really, for me, is really going to just be all about teaching. You're done in this conversation. You don't matter. You need to sit back and listen to me teach so you can learn where your forefathers got the game from. So that when you learn the true and accurate history as a creative moving forward, you can go further in your art because you're learning the true history, not a lie. It's best to pull from the source, not the person copying the source. You dig? It's best just to go all the way back to the source. Now, that's just a little bit. That's just a little sample. I want people to look here. Is it this one? This is Dizzy Gillespie talking.
The rock beat, and it's all right. The same thing happened with our music.
This is Louis. This is Dizzy Gillespie, the great Dizzy Gillespie. By the way, when I call him, when I talk about somebody, when I talk about the man that is the father of, let me see, what screen was I on?
With the rock beat, and it's all right. The same.
The man that's the father of jazz. Not of jazz, of bebop, who makes him the father of salsa. Father of salsa. Father of all those different sounds. How bebop evolved into hip hop. Listen to listen to Dizzy Gillespie talk real quick about the evolution of music.
With the rock beat, and it's all right. The same thing happened with our music. Like the bossa nova. The bossa nova.
Well, it's something that I missed. I missed to say. Dizzy's talking about how he's talking about how rock was taken from black people. Now he's about to show you how bossa nova was taken from us and the Latin sounds.
Make it with the rock beat, and it's all right. The same thing happened with our music. Like the bossa nova. The bossa nova, we were the first ones to play bossa nova in this country, by the way, because we had been to South America, no one else had been there. And we had like one-note samba and shake it solid. We had it before the popular people made the record. But at that time, I didn't have a recording contract, so I didn't do it, so I lost that. But it still doesn't evade the fact that we were the first one to play that kind of music. But the South Americans, they had their own distinctive rhythm, but their harmonies was a direct copy of our harmonies that we made in the bop era of the 40s. And they copied it, and they went further. I mean, it was great. I can see somebody copying something because everybody has to have someone to copy.
You see right there in bossa nova, they had their rhythms. In Latin music, they had their rhythms, but they didn't have the harmonies and the melodies. They got the harmonies and the melodies from us. So Fat, that we're talking about your sound now, Fat Joe.
To sort of synthesize jazz and rock.
Like that. So
I was just going to comment too that seems
Wait.
Mine out of the air, he's a liar, is a standard to go by because it doesn't come like that. So
I was just going to comment too that seems to be a trend with groups such as the Blood, Sweat, and Tears in Chicago to sort of synthesize jazz and rock. As you pointed out, many of these musicians are, first of all, good jazz artists, and they many times perform rock because they can make more money at that than they can playing just straight jazz. Mm-hmm. But certainly jazz has influenced the rock scene a great deal, and certainly I think will continue in the future. It's a funny thing looking back over jazz history some 7 or 8 decades, and various writers have applied cute little subdivisions of these eras, such as the Dixieland or the swing era, going into the bebop, and I don't know what you would call this era. People say that bebop's never with. I don't think it ever has been, neither is Dixieland, but then the modern jazz trend. And I was wondering, jazz musicians are always trying to develop a new aesthetic, a new foundation, always surging ahead. And do you have any opinions about where jazz is headed?
Yes, all I can say is where it has been up to this point. You see, you can look at jazz, the jazz picture, from the beginning. How did jazz start?
So when you listen to that full interview, I screen recorded that, so I don't remember where I got it from. But
the rock beat, and it's
when you,
right.
Oh shit, I'm over here blowing my screen up. So that's what we have right there. Let me see here.
Make it with the rock beat, and it's all right. The same.
There we go. I'm sorry. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There we go. All right, cool. Sorry about that. So that's what you see right there. So you see it right there. When you trace it further back, rock gets its foundation from jazz. All that shit, the harmonies, the melody, rock, bossa nova, all of that stuff comes out of jazz. Salsa, all the Latin sounds that you know, the sound of the Americas come out of jazz. That's why, look, I was very thorough and comprehensive when I made my Black American music family tree. I wasn't bullshitting. We can trace the lineages of all this music back here. Look, that's why look at this wing of the tree I have right here. Look at this wing of the tree. You see where I have salsa, bossa nova? This is why I have it coming out of bebop. There's a why to everything. If somebody cannot tell you why, they either don't know or they're bullshitting. And if they don't know, they shouldn't be fucking talking to you. You should be able to answer when, where, what, why, and how. Everything on this tree can answer when, where, what, why, and how, and who. See, this is the ultimate flex that we have in black folk. This is why we got to stop arguing with people. Because even if you want to say you gave me something, your daddy and mama was watching my daddy and mama. You didn't give us shit. We was watching the same people, listening to the same people. So, if this pisses you off, how do you feel knowing that the people you taught don't know nothing, are inferior, or less than because you feel that way in your home country? How does it feel knowing that you owe them for everything cool in your life? Hey, black people, I'm serious. We have to start y'all gotta stop getting mad and like getting all tense and tight with these people. Who the fuck is they to get tight with? Because all the cool immigrants I know, they ain't tripping. The immigrants I know that are cool and down, they not tripping. Because Jamaica got a whole music culture in and of itself. That's dope. That ain't got nothing to do with the black American sound. Yeah, soca, nigga, y'all got that. Anything with a steel drum, we don't play that shit over here in America. We don't play that shit. So if the shit got a steel drum, nigga, you got it. If you got a merengue box, nigga, you got it. If the song, if they rolling their R's in the song, you got it. We don't roll R's in our music. We'll never say we live on Rosecrans, nigga. True hip hop, LA, nigga, we live on Rosecrans, nigga. Now, even Big Pun, when he said do the rock away, he didn't say do the rock away. He said that shit with an English accent, because if he said that shit in Latino, he would have had to roll that motherfucking R and soften that T. Kool Herc didn't call himself Bumbleclot Hurt, nigga. Oh man, Pete Rock is Jamaican. Yeah, he called himself Soul Brother #1 too, after James Brown. He don't call himself nigga, he don't call himself Soul Jerk Sauce #1. He called himself Soul Brother #1, like James Brown. Grandmaster Flash named himself after Grand. We were already doing the Grands. Grand Wizard Theodore. It was Grands all over the goddamn place. You ain't special, and it's time you get told that. You think you just some old hell of a nigga to wear your presence at the parties. Oh, the party's just better because we're here. No, man. Matter of fact, the party's worse because y'all was wearing penny low. Y'all was wearing penny. I remember when I was a kid growing up, like all the Africans and shit, them niggas wore penny loafers. While we was in goddamn Nikes and Converse, nigga, y'all was in penny loafers with a Chuck E. Cheese token in the motherfucker. We putting I'm not playing games with these people because as nice as you are, as nice as you can be, people still want to come around with that bullshit. So we got to stop playing games in 2025. It's just what it is. All right? And if you got a problem with it, take it up with your mama. You should have told her to travel You should take it up with your great grandparents for getting on the wrong boat and not coming here. Don't take it up with me. Intellectualpower.net. This is what you need to do. You want to keep your brain sharp like I do? Keep your mind right like I do? I can't speak for nobody else, but I can speak for me. This shit here makes my brain smart and very clear. You just got your Christmas money, so spend some of that at intellectualpower.net, all right? But you see what I'm saying? And you could also go to blisscapsules.com. I don't know if you give me time, but like this is for more of that elevated state. The legal Amanita, Egyptian lotus, you can get that. Type in promo code DeWanB. Buy 2, get 1 for free. All right. So back to what we talking about. I want to show y'all this is the video I meant to show y'all last week, but my shit was tripping. Let me show y'all this video. This is the importance of the drum set, taught by none other than me. See, the reason why I can talk like this is because I'm an actual musician. I can read music.
Reason why I'm doing live.
Y'all be talking shit, trying to talk to me about this is an African rhythm. This is a such and such rhythm. Nah, nigga. If you don't know rhythm, if you can't sit your ass down on a live drum set and play some rhythm, don't talk to me about no goddamn rhythm.
Reason why I'm doing live drum samples is because, drums are the heartbeat of a song. And it's cool to have the machines. The machines are there, but you really want that beat of a natural person to play that. You want that emotion into your music. That's why live drum samples are so important, because everybody can't afford studio time to get to a drummer. But if you can get an actual drummer laying down the groove in pocket, and then you can layer your music on top, even if you want to add the other program beats on top of the drums, that's fine. But you want to have that feeling and that grooving.
And that's what the drum set does. It brings in the feeling and the groove. You dig? And all music in Black American music is centered around the drum set, not the Congo drums. See, this is Black American music. Anytime I said, and I've explained this before, anytime you hear a drum set, you're hearing the Black American roots of your music. Because your music, nowhere else on the planet, use one of these. Only we can do that. That's the foundation of Black American music right there. It's the drum set that drives a song.
And dance to you better get up off of that thing and dance to you. Sing it now.
When they come in on that 2 and the 4, accent on the 1, it's the Black American sound. Okay? If you come from Africa, if you come from the Caribbean, okay, Maurice Coker, I appreciate the super chat. I don't know what that means, but appreciate it. He said, going right across the chair, preparing the chair across the room. Gotta break that down for me, brother. But I appreciate the super chat. Let me see here. Versus when I listen to your music, it floats. Let's put up some Latin drums and Tito Puente. Thing. You notice in Latin music, the time floats. and they accent on the 1 and the 3. See, without a snare to clearly define the division in the beat, the song takes on a whole different characteristic. I'm talking music now, so if you're one of the people that want to argue with me and you don't know how to play an instrument, shut the fuck up and listen, all right? And if you do know how to play an instrument, you wouldn't be arguing with me because your sound, it floats a little more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2. It's a different groove. That's your groove. And if I want to brag all the way, if I really want to brag, the greatest drummer in Latin music is Tito Puente. Who did Tito Puente grow up? Where did he grow up playing? He grew up in America playing the drum set. So Tito Puente, even though he's a master Latin percussionist, you know who his favorite drummer was? You know who inspired Tito Puente? Max motherfucking Roach. Max Roach. This is one album you got to get. Clifford Brown and Max Roach live at the Beehive. This is the album that turned me on to Max Roach. Way different feel. This is Tito Puente's inspiration right here. Max Roach. That's who inspired Tito Puente to become the drummer he was. Look it up in Tito Puente's own words, nigga. I love Tito Puente. That's how I know this, because I studied Tito Puente. And through studying Tito Puente, I learned that Tito Puente's favorite drummer was my favorite drummer, Max Roach. You did? So we're putting to bed your little influence that you think you have over our sound. That's what we're doing today. We're putting to bed any influence you think you have over our sound, over our culture, over how we put music together. Even your favorite DJ got it from Jocko Henderson. Now, let me do it from here. Where's YouTube? Even your favorite DJ got it from him.
The most exciting ride from the earth to the moon with gotta go with the Rocket Ship Commander.
Jocko Henderson used to flip break beats and rap over them all the time.
The greatest station in the world, WCBS FM at 101. And we'll get the job done on the...
This is where Jocko got it from. It's another video I want to show. Where's Jocko's rap? There's another Jocko's rap I want. Where is it?
Baby.
No, there's another one. Was it this one? Was it this one?
Uroy's expert.
I'm looking for this one rap that he does.
Play a DJ. He probably played Jock.
I'm looking for this one rap.
This is Jocko Engineer. Picture called Funny Face, huh? Well, the boss gave it with a little new twist on it entitled, like that. Go on with it, champ. Especially, very.
I can't find the clip that I'm looking for. It used to be easier to find. They must have got taken. They had to have gotten taken down. It had to have gotten taken down. Try this one.
Very much, and also and spare. You asked for it by name, huh? And make Don sure you've got plenty for the holidays, huh? Yeah, plenty for the holidays. But remember one thing: the bottle and the throttle don't mix. You got that? Don't forget that now, eh? But pick up on plenty of Golden Spur. If you're not driving, help yourself to the very finest of all the wines, the big Wild West wine. As for it by name, Golden Spur, Golden Spur, Golden Spur. Don't forget the name. Comes in the...
See, that's where the whole culture of talking over the...
home from 1 to 2 families.
Talking smooth over the radio comes from.
Golden Spur Cream by Mr. Bill Cash, president of Halo Wigs, will drive the visit. I'm terrific one. For your record.
I'm looking for Jocko's rap. Man. I'm looking for his rap. For those of you in my music class, I had it. For my music class, I had it. Is it this one? No, not that one. Anyway, whatever. Because I wanted to show you this Jocko Henderson rap and put it with a George Clinton. Damn it. Shit. Well, I got that enough, but it really was one more point. It was really one more rap I wanted to play to really land my point. Whatever, fuck it. I wanted to get that one more rap in to really land on my point, because it's the same rap that Jocko does, that George Clinton does in one of his songs, that Dr. Dre ended up using. It's like one rap. It's like there's this one rap that goes from Jocko Henderson to George Clinton to Dr. Dre, but I can't. It's gonna fucking bug me. But if those of you who took my music course, you saw it. You heard it. Anyway, back to my point. So this is why you tethers are so goddamn annoyed. And let me say something real quick. Stop arguing with us. Stop. Your issue, like my issue, is white supremacy. Your issue, like my issue with the system, is white supremacy, not each other. We should not even be having this argument. We should not be having this argument, because anthropologically, it generally takes at least 2 generations for a culture that's new to a place to influence where it moved to. Your issue, like my issue, is them. Oh, this is the other documentary on Machito. This is a documentary on Machito's jazz legacy, and he talks about how he was working with Black Americans. This is the first Latin jazz artist, Machito. And he's playing in Chick Webb's band. Yeah, look, this is your first. This right here is your first Latin jazz band. Your first Latin jazz band is a whole bunch of black men, Black American horn section. This is Machito's Afro-Cubans.
By this time, the fusion between what you call Afro-Cuban music
Listen to this. Listen to them talk about Afro-Cuban black music, black American music. Listen.
My relationship with the Machito Orchestra kept growing, and eventually Norman Granz asked me to write a suite of Afro-Cuban jazz for the Machito Orchestra, which I did, and which was very successful. By this time, the fusion between what you call Afro-Cuban music and jazz was really taking place.
Que grabamos con Charlie Parker, Fritz Phillips, Bobby Rich. Fíjate la gente que quisieron grabar con nosotros. Ellos podían haberse dado luz, decir, nosotros no grabamos con la guerrilla, los guerrilleros estos. No. Tan pronto le dijeron, vengan a grabar.
This is talk about Machito's first band, and this Afro-Cubans that came out of Chick Webb's band. Let me see if I can go back and play some of that earlier part for you.
Were just some of the great big bands that played jazz you could dance to.
Envuelto también en una categoría musical de altura. Hoy ya vinculado con Chick Webb. Así que
he said his brother-in-law started with Chick Webb. I'll get into Chick Webb in 1 second.
Se me facilitó para estar envuelto también en una categoría musical de altura. Hoy iba todas las noches al Savoy, porque cuando aquello
He's talking about, this is Machito talking about how he would go to the Savoy Ballroom with Chick Webb. Chick Webb wasn't going down to their club. They were going to Chick Webb's Savoy Ballroom Club. This for you Fat Joe people, showing you where you got your Latin music from.
La orquesta de Chick Webb ya estaba establecida.
The Savoy Ballroom was known as the home of happy feet, and jazz was known as swing. The 1930s was the golden era of the big bands, many of which were led by great arrangers. Fletcher Henderson, Jimmy Lunsford, Duke Ellington, and Count Basie were just some of the great big bands that played jazz you could dance to.
So you see right there what Chick Webb talks about, well, Machito talks about going to Chick Webb. See, you got to know who Chick Webb is. If you know who Chick Webb is, Chick Webb was a little 4 foot tall black man that was a drummer that had a whole bunch of injuries. Like he had to walk on a cane. And Chick Webb was where the center of music was happening right there with Chick Webb. Stomping at the Savoy, one of his big songs. And Chick Webb discovered Ella Fitzgerald. That's also where Machito got his jazz band from. But you know who else was in Chick Webb's band? Louis Jordan. The same Louis Jordan I talked about earlier today. The same Louis Jordan. This Louis Jordan. He was also in Chick Webb's band at the same time as Machito.
Door and open with ease, and a lush little nest said, "Come in, please." Before we could even bat an eye, we were right in the middle of a big fish fry. But rockin'.
Is he not rapping? Is Louis Jordan not rapping? With a song called Fish Fry. Is he not rapping?
We knocked on the door and opened with ease, and a lush little nest said, "Come in, please." Before we could even bat an eye.
Louis Jordan used to combine elements of comedy, rap, and he's the king, the father of rhythm and blues. First person to really combine the big band elements with the blues and develop things into what we now know as rhythm and blues. This man comes out of the same band as Machito, the person that founded the first Latin jazz band. The further backer you go, the blacker you go. Can I coin that term? The backer you go, the blacker you go. Can I get credit for that? Can y'all just give me credit when y'all use it? The backer you go, the blacker you go. So from any point of reference you want to cut it, we your daddy. Okay? Just take it. So that's why you're tethered and torn. Non-tethers are not torn. Immigrants aren't torn. People that happen to be born in another nation or parents are born in another nation and they're secure within themselves, they're not tethered or they're not torn because they're not tethered. They too busy living their own goddamn life. They like the music, but they're secure within their culture. You're tethered and torn because you've tethered all of the cool points in your life to us. All of them. And you torn. Because you were told not to fuck with them Yankee boys. Well. That's right, girls speak. Honor your father and your mother so your days can be long. See, I've been neglecting my chat room. Chat room, let's see what y'all. Do y'all want to talk? Y'all want to call in? All right. I wasn't going to open up the phone lines, but I will because I've been talking. I want to know what some of you guys think. Call in. 323-744-7425. We've seen like Drake. Drake really thought that he was going to win. Like this whole Kendrick-Drake battle really shows you the difference between the culture and the vulture. You really got to see in real time the difference between the culture and the vulture. What's up, Carl? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, what's good? I'm calling out of Harlem.
Calling out of Harlem. Who's this calling?
My name is Shotty.
Shotty, what's on your mind, brother?
Nah, I was just in the chat and I was just seeing some people just talking crazy. I'm just saying, like, people need to understand that a lot of their grandmothers and everybody like immigrated to America and they trying to erase that. They're trying to act like they just popped up out of nowhere, and that's not the case. And like somebody in the chat said, honor your mother and father so your days shall be longer. So you just disrespecting your whole grandma legacy. You understand me? I'm just going to land my plane there.
Plane landed. All right, brother.
All right.
Yeah. Honor your father and your grandmother, huh? Yes, sir. And know your father and your grandmother. Those of us born and raised here know where our fathers and grandmothers came from. I know my grandmama came from Dallas by way of Oklahoma City. I know my great-grandfather came from Michigan, Benton Harbor, Michigan, by way of Natchez, Mississippi. Before Natchez, Mississippi, Alabama. Before that, North Carolina. What's up, Carter? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Joaquin from Brooklyn.
Joaquin, what's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, I've been following you closely, brother. I like what you're doing, and I also think that what these tethers and others are doing, I think is kind of good for us because the response that we have now, brothers and sisters coming around, coalescing around our culture and defending it, and we're forced to gatekeep it now. It got us off the sidelines.
Hey, I'm glad you brought that point up because when I used to talk about, I've been talking about music forever. Like I do a lot of different things, but music has always been my heart and my soul, you know? And when I would do a post on Black American music history 4 or 5 years ago, 10 likes. Black people, let's just tell the truth. And this is our issue as a people because we always got to bring it back to us, you know? That's how you fix things. Absolutely. You can only fix yourself. You can't fix other people. Like, when I would talk about music, 5 likes, people always would tell me, oh, DeJuan, you just into old music. Oh, DeJuan, you just hating because it's a new thing. It's a new day. And I would always tell people back then, like, look, hip-hop is going to have to reconnect to the blues because if Hip hop doesn't reconnect to the blues. It's a feral child, and somebody else is gonna scoop it up. I was saying this 10 years ago, and niggas didn't give a fuck. Oh, it's blues. Now that we getting this outside threat, now all of a sudden people care, huh? Whatever it took, I guess.
I attribute that to the fact that we're such a creative people that for us to create things, it's not even a thought in our mind. We just create things. And because of that, I think we're a little like, when you see a child with toys, and they got a lot of toys, as soon as they get a new toy, shortly they're done playing with it because they're used to just having things. It's I think that's kind of like how we are when it comes to creativity with our culture. We just create things. So it's not until you put it to the leg and say, hey, this is ours, and we see that you're stealing, then you wake up Godzilla.
Real talk, man. That's a great point you got, man. Thanks for giving us a call.
Absolutely, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man, he made a good point. Like, I've always been on this. Me personally, I've been waiting for you niggas. Honestly. Even when I started my YouTube channel, when I would talk about music back in the day here on YouTube, before Fat Joe and all these and Busta Rhymes started talking crazy, nigga, them videos would get like 700 views. Wasn't nobody giving a fuck about this music talk until we got this threat. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, brother. How you doing? This different, bro?
Yes, sir, man. I'm pretty good. Man. About yourself?
It's going, man. Just chilling. Just got my cousins and stuff over here. They up there playing with their gifts they got and shit.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So what's on your mind?
Well, the thing I want to talk about is this stuff. Like, I heard it a few days ago because you was on a matter of fact, on the Tyreek thing. This dumbass got on there talking about that the banjo came from the Africans, which isn't true. Came from the Black Native Americans, because matter of fact, it was a guy who you interviewed on your show that was talking about that. Because I found that too, that it came from the Black Native Americans. Like, it's one of the, I think it's, matter of fact, one of the only instruments.
Here's my thing. Before you go further, and I hear where you're going with it, I just want to, I want to address the banjo thing, all right?
Yes, sir.
Look, the guitar is indigenous to the planet, all right? Everywhere humans exist, somebody got a piece of string, tied it from one part to the other, and plucked it. So it's the second easiest instrument to create next to a drum. Because a drum, you hit on something. Matter of fact, it might be easier than a drum. Honestly, because it's just a string. So the guitar is indigenous to the planet. Every group of human beings generally have some kind of a guitar. The sitar in India. So, but when it comes to the banjo in Africa, the banjo there's strong evidence that it is from Africa, and there's strong evidence that it's from America. There's strong evidence for both. This is what I say to that real quick. And and I'm not cussing at you when I say this, my brother. But when the fuck was the last time you heard a banjo in black music?
Only in blues.
You don't, no. You don't hear it in blues either.
Yeah.
You don't hear the banjo. What you hear is black American music. The closest foreign instrument to the closest foreign guitar in black American music is the lute. The lute comes out of Moorish Spain, which comes through Egypt. The lute is the closest thing that we play that comes from other places. It's the lute, not the banjo.
Right.
Now, because you still hear the lute. You still hear the lute now, like in this song. When you listen to songs like one second. I'm gonna let you finish your point. All right, but give me a second. All right. You hear the lute in this song that just dropped a few years ago from D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Really love, and right here. Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'm looking for that. I'm looking for the lute part.
Is it off that album when he was with the band?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for right here. That's the loop. You hear the loop far more than you hear a banjo. So when I hear people talking about bringing up a banjo, here's the sound of a banjo, y'all. Here's the banjo. When was the last time you heard anything near that shit? The banjos even play different than different guitars than the guitars that we use today. So and I'm gonna let you finish your point. All you gotta say to anybody talking that banjo talk, just ask their asses, when the fuck was the last time you heard a banjo? But go ahead.
Oh yeah, and plus, like, not only that, when it comes to that, it's played in bluegrass because there is black people. Because I thought that they were just some white people playing it, but bluegrass played. It's black people that play that, and plus that other music that comes from New Orleans. Start with a Z. I don't know what they call it. It's like they play with beer bottles and all that shit. But it's played in different type of styles of Black American music that's not really popular. And plus, not only that, here's the end off point. If it did came from the black people from Africa, they asses was brought over here anyway.
Right.
Like exactly. Like the tribe that made it was brought to America anyway. So it's still our shit by default. So I don't know why the fuck they making these dumbass points. It's like, bro, it's insane to me, bro. But that was my main point, brother.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for giving us a call.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
You too, brother. Yeah. See, that whole banjo thing, man, people can kick rocks with that bullshit. Somebody coming to you with that banjo talk, tell them to kick motherfucking rocks. You don't hear nobody playing that hillbilly shit. Outside of fringe music. It has no part in mainstream music. And the type of guitar you use makes a difference. In Mexico, they have a guitarrón that has more of a percussionist type sound. The style guitar you use is dependent upon the style of music being played. The banjo has no place in American popular music. Go ahead, Carter. What's the name? Where you call it from?
Hey, what's up, Dron? This is Andres from Paris.
Andres from Paris. What's on your mind?
So I catch the live late, so I don't know if that was the whole conversation, but I just want to make this point. I think people now are more comfortable repping their heritage and be comfortable with the history of whatever country they're from than before when it was more assimilated. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the example I have is, what's his name? This guy from the Pistons. I forgot his name.
From who?
Who almost, the guy who played for the Pistons, who almost...
Andre Drummond?
took LeBron down. No. Basketball player. Who almost fought with LeBron James a few years ago. I forgot his name.
Oh, yeah, that guy. I forgot his name, too. Yeah. I know you're talking about.
Right. Okay, so his guy was born and raised in upstate New York, okay? His dad comes from Jamaica, right? So he was born and raised in the United States as, okay, if you won't tell the difference from outside, you think he was African American, right? But his dad from Jamaica. So if you go to his page, you have a lot of Jamaican flags, Jamaican music, stuff like that, and you're like, oh, okay, so he's Jamaican. But I remember back then, and that's from your era, Patrick Ewing was born and raised in Kingston and didn't move to the United States until 13 years old. And I just found out later that he actually was from Jamaica. You wouldn't know back then that he was from Jamaica.
You're right.
He didn't have no accent. He was speaking like any other African American. And so that goes to show you that people back then was more shy repping the heritage, you know what I'm saying, which is all good than now. And sometimes because of that, they go overboard claiming some stuff that they shouldn't claim. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you right there. Right. When we were kids, we didn't know. We heard that Ewing was Jamaican, but nothing about how he acted, walked, talked. He didn't do anything. He Americanized himself really well. That's a good
you
point.
only knew it when. Yeah, you only knew it when you were reading Sports Illustrated and you would see like
Sports Illustrated,
the birth dates, and you say like, okay, Kingston. But when you talk, like it doesn't talk like Bob Marley. It doesn't talk with the accent and Jamaican patois and everything, you know.
Yeah. That's a good point, my man. Thanks for giving us a call.
No problem. Hey, I have Dwan. I know you was a fucking Hebrew Israelite.
I ain't no damn Hebrew Israelite.
I know, but I mean, you kind of have like the same body type.
As a Hebrew, most Hebrew Israelites are skinny. What the hell you talking about? They don't eat meat like I do. Them motherfuckers don't.
Well, I know, sometimes when you see them, a lot of them they're like big and strong. So I just want to make a joke. Okay. Kind of look like them.
Yeah, nah, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite because I read clear. I don't,
No,
All
I
right,
know
man.
you're not. I just wanted to make a joke about that. You know what I mean?
For sure. Nah, you good. You good. You have a good one, man.
All right, Dwan.
Yeah.
Okay, peace out.
Yeah, peace out, man. See, that's the thing. Like, yeah, it do be some big ass Hebrew Israelites. So it'd be like, read, Matt Deuteronomy 5:17 says, "He who walks in the shadow of the figure." Salute to my Hebrew Israelites brothers. But now he's right about that. They used to that's a good point with the whole Patrick Ewing thing because Patrick Ewing came out in the 80s. Hey, make sure you mute me, caller, please. Put me on mute. Patrick Ewing was still accepted, and we did not know he was black. I mean, he was Jamaican until, like I said, unless you read Sports Illustrated. Hey, Carl, you got to turn me off in the background. Mute.
Oh, can you hear me now?
I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Happy Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you.
Your day. Yeah, but you know who this is? It's Cassandra from Tether.
Yes. How you doing today?
Listen, I'm doing all right, but I'm always listening to you, and I'm gonna call in when I can get a chance to. But listen at this, B. Now, Puerto Rico didn't become a part of the United States until the mid-1800s. Black folks were moving from the South to New York in the early 1600s. My thing is, how you figure you gonna come over here, don't know how to speak the language, don't know nothing about the culture, but you started rap though. You started hip hop. How that's gonna work? I mean, where that work at? Just like you said, you at least gotta be here 3-4 generations after you've been here. You have your children, then your children grow up around people that already had it popping before you got here.
You're right. And that's the thing, like, our culture, see, a lot of these people get so mad because they be like, oh, you weren't in New York, you weren't there. They don't understand how strong our culture is from Seattle to Miami. From Maine to San Diego is strong. And when people want to give you that, oh, you weren't there, you weren't in New York. Well, you weren't in the rest of the country when black people had it popping where the fuck we were. We had it rocking in Kansas City in the 1930s and 20s. Kansas City, what? I mean, no matter where we lay our head, Philadelphia was the center of music in the 1820s. And this is when slavery was still going on in the North.
Yeah.
The free black people of the North still had the most popular music in the world.
In the world, sure did. And the thing about it is the music that we was doing over here, these people were booking shows and stuff for black people everywhere. You didn't see no Hispanics, they was booking no damn shows for, excuse my French, but they wasn't booking no shows for no Hispanics to go nowhere.
Right.
Hell, we were all over the daggum world. You didn't see them booking no African shows for them to go and sing nowhere.
Nope.
They wasn't doing it like we was doing it.
The first, like, really big-time national African act was Sal Masekela. Hugh Masekela. His son Sal was Sal Masekela from ESPN. But Hugh Masekela. But Hugh Masekela also had black American musicians. One of the people was Ronnie Laws. Ronnie Laws left Earth, Wind, and Fire. This is right before Earth, Wind, and Fire like became big time.
Did that be?
Yeah, he left. He left Earth, Wind, and Fire to join.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. To join Hugh Masekela, but that was the first big act, and that was like 1971. But go ahead, finish off what you had to say. My bad.
What happened? Did you get on my? You got on my tablet?
You there?
You can hear me talking?
Hey, I can hear you. You there?
So you heard me say, "B, is you still there?"
Yeah, I said hold on for 1 second.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
But go ahead.
I guess it's a little bit delayed, but
it's okay.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. It's just like me coming to your house and your wife throwing down cooking, and I'm visiting, but I go and tell everybody that recipe she had, I gave it to her. And your wife been cooking that recipe before I even set foot in y'all house, man.
Right.
We gonna keep fighting it. We're gonna keep beating it until we beat it down. You're not taking this. You took everything else. You're not gonna. What did Richard Pryor say? You done took everything else.
You ain't taking this.
This is why we holding on to what we got.
Right.
That's all I want to be. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you. Have a good one. Yeah. Hugh Masekela. You want to know your first really breakout African act? He's using black instrumentation. American harmonies, American rhythm, the drum set, American instrumentation. The drum set is not African. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This boy King from Los Angeles, California.
You all right there, brother?
Yeah, I just had a cold, but my fault though.
Okay, that's all good. It's all good. So what's on your mind?
The problem is, the thing about the cats from New York, they try to use that, if you read in New York, you can't speak on hip-hop as a way of trying to colonize New York. Because I used to have them type of conversations, but I used to tell them like, nigga, you're not here from New York. Nigga, the only reason why you're here because your mama came in from a different country. Most of these folks don't even know the New York flag. You know what I'm saying? Right. So they use that proximity Jedi mind trick to try to discredit you, but not knowing that, or they don't know that you know that most of the people that represented the hip hop culture or the stuff that you use to represent it didn't even come from New York.
Right.
All them jazz, that R&B stuff, and all them break beats that y'all used to sample and rhyme.
None of it came from New York.
None of it came from New York. Well, even the pop locking that they be using in their goddamn breakdancing moves, none of that came from New York. Even graffiti didn't come from New York. That came from Philadelphia.
Right.
In disco, low key, a lot of people say that even came from Philly to a degree. So and then even your rhyme patterns and your cadences came from dudes from the Carolinas and a lot of cats from down south along with those breakdancing moves. So what they try to do is they try to play a mental colonization and try to make New York like how they did Egypt, basically separated from the United States. Like it's just some big sanctuary state or its own island.
Big sanctuary state.
You know what I'm saying? And try to say this is New York culture. No, bro. Y'all are a double pot of American cultures in New York. You know what I'm saying? And most of y'all ain't even from New York. Because when y'all have them damn parades, y'all waving them Puerto Rican flags. Y'all not waving New York or American flags.
Real talk.
Y'all have y'all little Caribbean parties. Y'all not waving New York or American flags. Y'all waving Caribbean flags. So the thing is about it is that they know that they can't intellectually prove or point, so they want to use that you ain't from New York type stuff. Even then, I always ask them, if that's the case, take away all that stuff and give every city, state back the stuff that y'all used to invent hip hop, to go invent something that was in New York or organically from New York, then you can say that. They don't say nothing about that no more.
Right.
They don't say that no more. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's like, you know what I'm saying? And they don't understand that. And it's crazy because just like even with this East Coast, West Coast beef shit, unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is manufactured by foreigners. Because most of the people that Tupac was beefing with on the East Coast, they all had foreign descent. It was Caribbean or whatever. Just like I was telling about Biggie. A lot of people try to say Biggie was Caribbean. But a lot of people don't know Biggie really got his style from King T out here on the West Coast. The dude that made Alcoholics. He was influenced.
That King T style, yep.
With that King T style, that chopped up flow. And people are gonna be crazy till I start playing the tracks and start seeing similarities. So right now, they don't like it, but they don't like it and they hate it. And they don't like the fact that the stuff that they use and the stuff that's helping them make that money is brought down by the same people they look down on. Because if you look at Fat Joe, his whole career has been built off the blacks and black Americans. The first person that put them on besides digging in the crates was Chris Light. Most of them was black Americans.
Yeah, man, you right about that, man. You right about that. We could go all day on it, man. I want to keep it moving, man. But thanks for giving us a call.
No problem.
Yes, sir, man. You have a good one. Yeah, we can go all day on that, brother. He got a lot of information, but yeah, you can talk all day. That's the LA sound right there. Biggie's biggest hit came with this breakdown. Where's it at? Where's it at? Here we go. This, like, all that East Coast talking, and one of the biggest breakdown came from right out of the LA sound. A&M Records, Herb Alpert.
What's up? Can you hear me?
You hear that? 1 second, caller. You hear that? That comes out the West. There is, the thing about hip hop, it's a little bit from here, a little bit from there, a little bit from there, and you put it all together into a salad, and it makes it, or into a soup, and it makes a flavor. That's what music is. That's what hip hop is. So all you regional motherfuckers, y'all need to sit y'all asses down and understand that it's the aggregation of Black American, and that was actually a white boy, Herb Alpert, but that was during the era, and that's with him using that black groove, that black sound. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Me, I'm calling from New York.
What's up from New York? What's on your mind?
So just quick question. So what is the gist of the conversation today? I know generally speaking, but specifically, what is the topic?
Yeah, how long you been listening?
I just got on, but I know that this topic concerning Fat Joe and hip hop, or specifically, like, what are we addressing?
We're not. There are no rules. We're addressing tethers, like what the title says. Did you have any opinion on it?
Okay, no. So, well, I'm not gonna argue or debate about hip hop. I mean, now for whatever reason they wanna, say it's something else other than what it always been. Now,
Well, what has it always been? I just want to make sure we both have the same definition of what it's always been.
I am, but I don't want to get off topic.
No. I just want to ask. I'm not arguing. I just want to ask. I just want to make sure we have the same definition on what it's always been. What has it always been?
I'm not arguing. Like I said, I was going to say something else, but real quick, I'll answer your question. It's always been established. Hip hop was created in 1970, Bronx, New York, but that's not even what I was going to talk about per se. So
not what this book says, but go ahead.
Aside from hip hop, what is it that quote unquote tethers basically anyone and everyone that is not Black American? What is it that tethers that y'all are so against? How are we trying to undermine quote unquote Black America?
To be very clear, anyone and everyone is not a tether. Just because you're born somewhere or your parents are born somewhere does not qualify you to be a tether. So I want to clear that up. Anyone and everyone is not a tether. A tether is like when we Black Americans call other Black Americans coons. Tethers are just coons that weren't born here, or coons whose parents weren't born here. That's all it is. Every black American is not a coon, but any person that fights against the interests of black America, anyone who lies on the history of black America is a coon if you're born here. If you're born somewhere else, then you're a tether that lies on the history of black America. But but to be very clear, it was not always ever established that hip hop started in 1972. That is a story that Africa Bambaataa started making up in the late 80s, early 90s. That was always a story. It was never official scholarship. When you go back in books like Race Music by Guthrie Ramsey, books like this, books like The Death of Rhythm and Blues by Nelson George, these are all books written long ago. You see in actual scholarship, you see rap hip hop is always written in scholarship as an extension of the blues that went through from the blues and jazz combined into R&B, from rhythm and blues into funk and disco, and out of funk and disco, you had the newer iteration of those forms, which was known as rap music, later known as hip hop. In scholarship circles, it was never some things started in 1972 by people not from America. In scholarship, it was always an extension of black music that black people have been putting together for over a century of recorded music.
Okay, but other than hip hop, well, how are we? What is that? How's that the case? Other than hip hop, like hip hop aside.
Okay, President Obama coming in, running as black, but giving rights to gays. Kamala Harris saying, I'm black, but I'm not going to do anything for black people. No. And championing, while as vice president, she championed money to go to immigrant groups. So that's how it hurt us. That's how it's hurt us. It hurt us in the way of the lady, her name is Winsome. Her name is Winsome. She's down there in Virginia, Winsome Sears, talking about a woman from the Caribbean, talking about what black Americans won't get while making her area a sanctuary city. So politically, what it's doing is taking rights that my grandparents fought for. We got to realize I've been on this land since 1640. So the rights and privileges that my grandparents, great-grandparents fought for, my great-grandfather invented the automatic railroad crossing. When they fought for all these movements, they fought for that for me, okay? They fought for that for my cousins, for us. No disrespect to anybody else, but we're who they fought that for. Now we're getting these Kamala Harrises. We're getting people like, rest in peace, Sheila Jackson Lee, trying to say reparations for everybody. You're getting all of these people that are not from here that are taking these rights, benefits, and privileges that my grandparents and forefathers fought for and saying, no, we're not going to give them to black Americans. We're going to give that money and give these advantages to people who are new here. So that's how it affects us on a political round.
So I want to address the Obama comment. Two things. Aren't y'all like, by majority, y'all always, until the current day, still vote Democrat and have been voting Democrat for a long time? Two, it is y'all that say and declare or claim and accept Obama as a quote-unquote black person, although he's half white and half quote-unquote of African or black descent. Is that not true?
So you know what that makes us? That makes us a people. You're right. We did accept Obama, and that was a mistake. And that's why we're delineating now, because for well over a century, well since the 1960s, we freely accepted these Eric Holders, these non-black Americans as black Americans, and these people that routinely spit in our face. So now the reason why we're drawing a distinction between immigrants and tethers is so that we can know who's cool and who's not. And the people so far, the people who are cool don't have an issue with it. So what you see right now over the last 6 years is black Americans saying, hold up, we made a genuine mistake with President Obama. When we see Busta Rhymes saying black Americans have no culture, we're saying, damn, we let that dude in and accepted him. We made a mistake. So what we're doing is we're doing what any intelligent being does. Any intelligent organism does that plans on surviving, and that's make course corrections and adjustments based off previous mistakes. So we're righting it wrong. That's what we're doing.
How about Louis Farrakhan? He's Caribbean descent.
No. What we're not going to do is I answer your questions.
Okay.
And
So
we're
other
going to
than
sit and you're going to accept the answer. If you have any fight back, we're not going to keep jumping and jumping and jumping. But since you since you brought up Louis Farrakhan, I'm gonna answer your question one more time. You got to understand this.
So we could skip.
Hold on, let me finish. You know, you brought up Louis Farrakhan. Let me shut you down. The reason why Louis Farrakhan is somebody we accept, because you got to understand, the immigrant that came to America, the black immigrant that came to America before 1960, was a lot different than the black immigrant that came to America after 1963. The black immigrants that came during the late 1800s and the early 1900s, they were leaving the oppression. They were coming here to fight. And they were coming here to fight along with us. So the style of black immigrant that was here at one time, the reason why those people were accepted amongst us is because they fought alongside of us. Anybody who's a more recent immigrant that has an issue and wants to use Louis Farrakhan as an example, what you need to do is pay attention to Louis Farrakhan's actions and see that's why he's accepted. The reason why a Nipsey Hussle was accepted here in LA was because he joined the program. He was here to fight the system. If you're here to fight the system, if you're here to fight alongside of us, you are our brother. But if you come along here and all you want is a couple dollars for yourself, you're sending the rest back home and you're saying, I don't want to be around those Yankees, then you got a problem. That's all.
Okay, so other than you said Obama,
there is no other than the president of the United States. That's the highest you can go. There's no other than. That's the problem. Sit in the problem and go to your people and fix it.
Is not a president of the United States, obviously, right?
Sit in the problem. No. We're not going to keep going. Sit in the problem and go to your people and fix it. You don't argue with me. I'm not the problem. Because if you fight alongside of me, I grew up in the Crenshaw district. I used to see Nipsey all the time, Slauson and Overhill, Stocker, Crenshaw, and Alviso. And when Nipsey was out there, here in LA, the Belizeans, they don't come around saying, oh, we Belizean, we better, we different. The Belizeans in LA, they come along, live in our neighborhoods, and they kick it with us. We cool with them. They don't cause no problems. And when they do shit, we ain't got no issues here in LA with Belizeans because Belizeans just come to chill. But if you come to take over, then you're going to have to run up against this. And we are a problem if you do that. We've been cool. And we'd rather stay cool. But if you ain't cool, what we going to do?
But what that has to do with the question. So I'm saying, how's everybody else trying to undermine you? Like, give another.
I didn't say everybody else. I said Tethers. No, the problem is, here's the issue. You're a Tether, and you're trying to justify your bullshit. And let me tell you right now, this isn't the platform for you to justify being a coward. This isn't the platform for you to come around and sit around and act like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. The problem is you. The problem is you're here talking to me and you're not challenging white supremacy. You're on mute so they can't hear you, son. So you might as well shut the fuck up. The problem is you're coming here trying to get somebody to talk to you. Oh, he hung up. You trying to get somebody to lower themselves to be like you instead of doing what. If you were smart, you know what you do? You'd follow Farrakhan's lead and join with us so you could be treated like Farrakhan. How about that? And put some lotion on your ankles, nigga. I know you wearing stonewashed jeans with mandals on and in a tuxedo shirt with ashy ass ankles. Your daddy probably drives a diesel Mercedes from 1979. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hello.
What's up, caller? What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
My name is DeJuan McKinney.
Turn me off in the background. It's an echo in the background. Turn me off whatever in the background. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. It's crazy. But like the one from Show Me State, St. Louis, Missouri. I'm calling in, dog. Hey, this the #1 podcast. I've been tuning in since 2020, man. I'm a big fan, dog.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
just showing love to the OG. Real talk, dog. That's it, man.
Much love, man.
Big
I
talk,
appreciate
love.
it.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one. Yeah.
You too.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna let y'all know I appreciate all y'all. I appreciate all y'all. Let's see here. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Sam calling out of Houston.
Oh, Sam from Houston. That's crazy. Sam Houston. Ha! What's on your nine?
Exactly. I was just listening in, and first time caller wanted to comment on some of the points you were making, especially about Biggie Smalls. When it comes to so Biggie Smalls, he got his inspiration from Dr. Dre.
Mm-hmm.
So if you listen to him call himself the Notorious B.I.G., he literally took that from Dr. Dre when he called himself the Notorious D.R.E.
No, yeah, and the Notorious D.R.E. Yeah, and his previous name Biggie Smalls was from a movie with goddamn Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby.
100%.
Uptown Saturday Night.
Absolutely. And so when you have the relationship between that, you understand that his biggest hit that you just talked about from Herb Alpert is not the only inspiration that he got. His entire catalog is a recreation of the West Coast sound.
In Between the Sheets by the Isley Brothers. Yeah, it's total. But go ahead.
No, I totally agree with you. And so, because you are a music historian and you talk about the relationship of the foundation of our music being the reason why these other musical genres from other cultures are able to sustain themselves, in the area of the 5 boroughs of New York, there has to be an understanding that the reason why we had black immigrants able to even come into the New York region of the 5 boroughs is because of the black people, foundational black Americans from the South that were in New York due to the Great Migration for the opportunities that were even there to allow for the embracing of the black immigrant at that time to come in, because they couldn't go anywhere else unless there were black Americans to help them survive because their numbers were so low.
Mm-hmm.
So now when they come to New York, because my people are from Alabama and from Georgia, and we had members of our family in Harlem and whatnot, for example. And so when you have Jamaicans, for example, to come in, they come into the New York area and they are embraced by people from my family, for example. And so now when they come in, they don't even have enough people from their culture to continue with their cultural norms. And so when the music that they're listening to is going to be rhythm and blues, and they are singing along, and then you show the example of how they were copying Dionne Warwick and whatnot. It's not abnormal because Dionne Warwick was a powerhouse in her time of musical influence.
And if you're going to tell the truth, Dionne Warwick was the blueprint of how white popular singers started. Dionne Warwick was white women's ushering in to rhythm and blues. You get Cher, you get these later on white women, because Dionne Warwick was the first real black woman to pull the gospel and the soul out of her voice and sing it more straight ahead on a level that white people can reach. The reason why Dionne Warwick is so popular, because she taught non-black American women how to sing like a black woman without the salt and pepper. She could sing with more soul, but she didn't. So Dionne Warwick was Jamaicans. Y'all, to anybody who's white, who's a don't you immigrant, you Jamaicans, you should not feel bad about her saying she wanted to sound like Dionne Warwick. All the white women y'all worship also wanted to sound like Dionne Warwick. So that's just what it is. But go ahead, finish your point.
The last thing I want to say before I land my plane is in relation to the influence that West Coast rap has had on the entirety of hip hop. So before the famous Source Awards, when Andre 3000 said that the South has something to say, that was said years ago by Ice Cube in music that
the West got something to say.
NWA, 100%, and one of the greatest love songs of all time that people misconstrue as not being that is from The Chronic with Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg, the song Pictures Ain't Shit. If you break that song down, it is in 4 parts. It's the expression of either heartbreak or love from so Dr. Dre, he's talking about heartbreak. Him and the fallout that he had with Eazy-E.
Yeah.
So that's the first one. Then the second part of the song is when Daz comes in, he talks about his love of money. And then Corrupt is about his love of friendship. And then Snoop Dogg is talking about heartbreak again. And the through line of all that is what the concept of a bitch is. So they're not talking about women, they're talking about what a bitch is. And so people have to understand that in its essence is what you talk about blues. That's the concept of a blues song and how you thread everything through. Masterful. You're able to present it in common speak where the average person can understand such a complex concept. Incredible.
Yeah.
That's it. Appreciate it.
Man, that's real talk. That's real talk. Appreciate you for calling in. Thanks for that information.
100%.
Yeah. That's some good information you just dropped. That's why I like opening up. I don't open up my phone lines enough, man. Y'all be coming in saying some things that really add to the conversation. So I appreciate that, brother, and I appreciate everybody who's called so far. What y'all talking about in the chat room? I see it's cracking in the chat right now. What y'all talking about in the chat? See, I don't care what white people say. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yes, sir. Make sure you mute me in the background.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to say rest in peace to James Brown. Yeah, he died on Christmas Day, 2006. I'll never get waking up and seeing that one. I'm like, oh, James Brown gone? Ooh. It's the same year I graduated college. James Brown left us, man. But what's on your mind?
I just want to talk about FBA. That's where we at, right? That's what we talking about. What is the?
Yeah, go ahead. How long you been listening?
Okay, just for a few minutes.
But go ahead, brother.
Okay. Well, first I want to say that, we I don't know. It's so, I'm sorry, I'm listening to you in the background. Let me move away from the TV. I know I'm messing up the show. All right, but no, I just want to say, man, as being FBA, I was talking to my aunties and them today and telling them about how this and that and everything's happening. And trust me, they FBA because they are part of my family. But they ain't trying to hear what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense.
It makes some pieces. I would go so far as say probably 80% of black people ain't trying to hear what we got to say. I would probably put the number at 8 out of 10. But go ahead.
Well, and I say that because they calling us hate groups. Nobody's getting an understanding of what's going on for real. Like, what's the whole thing behind the movement of what we trying to do? You get what I'm saying? And it just get nerve-wracking to see everybody. I'm talking about everybody, to police, to our own, to Chinese, to Mexicans, to the Fat Joes and whoever else you want to say. They all against us, man. And that's hard as hell, excuse my language, but that's hard as hell when you try to make something happen and do something for the future of your kids, for everything at stake. You got everything at stake. And I think for real, it's time to stop playing and let's all bind together for what it is and just make it happen. So therefore, we don't have to worry about what anybody else got to say. We ain't got to worry about, paying taxes to some people who ain't trying to help us. It's 40 million of us to put $1 in, to have our own taxes, to have our own police force, to have our own everything. So we don't have to even go through that. And I don't want to hold up half of the time by, just wasting yours. But, I want to thank you for what you're doing and putting us out here for people to listen and to understand to what's going on. And, God bless everybody.
Much love, man. Much appreciated, brother. Thanks for calling.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we get some things that, we do gotta address it. It comes in time. All that stuff comes in time, and we will get it in time, We'll most definitely get ours. We as a people, though, we just gotta put one step in front of the other. One foot in front of the other, and we got this. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Dana. I'm calling from the Valley.
Dana from the Valley. What's on your mind?
Just listening to you. Thank you for doing Christmas broadcast and great interview with Friday Jones, keeping their foot on their neck.
Oh, yeah.
But what I want to say about the topic is we have respect for the African Bambadas, the Cool Hercs, all of those New York, hip hop artists that came in. But the issue, and it came out in Fat Joe's vitriol, is the disaggregation. You can no longer pretend to be us. You can no longer show up to be us. If Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans was popping like that with hip hop, they would have taken it over already.
Right.
Their experience is their American experience. That's what they're rapping about. They're not rapping about the homeland, what happened in the DR, what happened in Cuba, what happens in Puerto Rico. They're rapping about their American experience. New York, you had your time. West Coast had our time. It seems to be, as the movement is going, it's about what's happening in the South right now, but it's gonna go in a cycle. It's gonna hop back to New York, the West Coast. It's gonna go back down south. But it is the American experience. It is the Black American experience. And if Fat Joe knew so much, he would have been talking about what Black Americans were doing in New York in slavery and all of that. He would have had context to this conversation. But you are upset because we no longer want you to say nigga. We no longer want you to pretend to be us. Talk about your experience, Joe. Talk about your ancestors being slavers. Talk about that.
Right. Because he looked very white to me.
We know our history. And as we disaggregate and we move on in this movement and saying that we don't want any more imposters. If you're not speaking for us, if you're not with us, then you're out. You on the outside.
And these people, I'm glad you made that point, because you're talking about a group of people who treat us that way. So
yes.
What you should understand what this is.
Yes, they need to understand what this is, and it's up to Jay-Z to check Fat Joe. That's your artist.
Yep.
You need to be checking him and saying, sit down. We've heard from you. We've heard enough from you, and we don't want to hear anymore.
Jay-Z and LeBron, because he worked for LeBron too. I said they need to give him the Bugsy Calhoun treatment from Harlem Nights. Put the motherfucker's fingers in the piano and slam that shit. You brought him here. You You brought Fat Joe to us, Jay-Z. Fat Joe does not have enough music to still be relevant. He's only still talking because he works for Rock Nation, and Rock Nation books all of his speaking engagements. It's the only reason why we know who he is.
And Fat Joe has only been relevant with Terror Squad. So that's other Black Americans, descendants in his little group. And whatever other else group or sound, but we don't need him at BET hosting the awards. We need you in the background. Ask for permission to speak.
Ask for permission to speak. Thanks for giving us a call.
All right, you too. Thanks.
Bye-bye. She said, ask for permission to speak. I like that. Yeah. I'm going to take one last call. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing, bro? This is Rico calling from Birmingham, living down here in Miami now.
Rico from Birmingham, living in Miami. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, chilling, brother. I want to, so I may just kind of segue off what the sister said prior. If we think about it, we look at Fat Joe and we look at reggaeton, which we know that reggaeton had Jamaican and it had hip hop influence. If you look at it now, the face of it is totally white. The whole industry, and I think that's what's happening now with hip hop currently. They're trying to totally just change the originators of that, which is FBA, Foundation of Black Americans.
What they're doing is the game plan is to have the Latinos and the Jamaicans say it's theirs, and then they know that the Latinos are they're white-minded just like they are. The Latinos are ripping from the Jamaicans. And then once the Latinos ripping from the Jamaicans, they know at the end of the day, Latinos aren't that strong. When white people come around, they don't fight. They don't fight back to white daddy. So the minute, if it's not going to happen, but just say they were able to strip it from us, it'll go from Jamaicans to Latinos. And once it goes to Latinos, the weird white folks, the Anglo-Saxons will walk in and be like, "Hey, this is ours now," and they know the Latinos won't fight them. So that's their plan.
Very true, and I want our other black brothers and sisters in their music genres. I said, watch. I said, give it time. They're coming for yours too. Give it time. But I appreciate you, brother, for what you do, and for people that have not heard that new Cube album, better get it. It's fine.
Yeah, folks, that new Cube, man. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for giving us a call.
Yes, sir. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Said, appreciate that super chat. It said, Big Indigenous, the proof is in the essence. You damn right. You're damn right. You're damn right. Let me see the other super chat. Says, rapping, breakdancing, exists around the country for years already. You're right. It did exist. I can't even say New York combined it under one name, because when they were all doing all these things at the same time, they weren't calling hip-hop in 1976. Media coined it, but they weren't calling it in 76, and we got that in microphone check and from people like Lord Jamar. They weren't even calling it hip-hop at the time. What we're calling hip-hop in 1974, they weren't calling it back then. Now, they were calling funk in 1973. They were calling disco in 1975. Hip hop got relabeled way later. All right, remember that. I'll take one more. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Angelica Lena calling from Nashville, Tennessee. How are you?
Nashville in the house. Well, how you doing? I'm good. What's on your mind?
Yes, sir. I wanted to say I kind of caught the tail end. I just kind of barely caught the tail end of the live where that individual called in and he was talking about, he brought up Louis Farrakhan, trying to make the Tether argument and trying to say, what about Louis Farrakhan? The thing about Louis Farrakhan is he is on code with black people, with foundational black Americans. That's the difference. And when you were saying about how the immigrants, how black immigrants were on code with us when they came back by a certain time, they were on code with us. And it makes me think about, when we have these conversations, it makes me think about Cicely Tyson. Cicely Tyson played Harriet Tubman in the movies. She played Sojourner Truth. She played Marva Collins. She played our FBA icons with excellence, with dignity and respect. And we love her for that. And it's Cicely Tyson's from the Caribbean. Come to find out. Now, fast forward to Cynthia Erivo. And she's
Way
up here
different.
playing Harriet. Yes, sir.
Way different.
Yes. And she's sitting up here bunking her eyes and looking all scared around the tree, and you know what I'm saying? So it's just a difference. It's just a difference. These immigrants that started coming over here past a certain time are just not on code with us at all. They're on code with the dominant society to try to undermine us. And I always think about Cicely Tyson, and shout out to her, and may she forever rest well.
Forever.
So
You're right about that.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to say that and leave it there. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for giving us a call. Yes.
Okay, bye.
Appreciate it. Yes, yeah. Same with Sidney Poitier. There was a time, if you're looking at the immigrants who came here, they weren't coming to flee their country. They were coming to fight with us. That's why the United States had a zero net immigration policy. We wanted more immigrants because the immigrants who have been coming up until that point were jumping on the side of the road and fighting with us. Don't compare yourselves to them. And if you want to compare yourselves to them, do what they did. Do what they did if you want to be compared to them. It's that simple. All right? I'm about to get up out of here, man, but the tethers are imploding. It's hilarious. This has been a class on showing you how even when they point to their culture thinking they gave us something, their cultural icons learned it from our cultural icons. You see how even with Cox and dying, it still went back to Louis Jordan? You can get to Louis Jordan through James Brown. You can get to Louis Jordan through Bob Marley and the Wailers. Either way it goes, the route leads back to us. I'm going to take one more call. What's up, Mr. Ishmael? Thank you for the super chat. You said pushing the boundaries in different perspective. I appreciate the super chat, Mr. Ishmael. All right, you be my last caller. I said one more call, but you be my last caller. What's on your mind?
Hey, big fella, I got a question.
Go ahead.
Have you ever seen the movie Life?
Which one? With Eddie Murphy
and Martin Lawrence?
Yeah, of course.
All right, now, let me use that for an example. Did you see how different the world was when they left New York City and they went down south?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm just going to say this. That's what it's like to a real New Yorker. When we step out of New York and we go to a new place, we are baffled by how segregated everything is. Yes, New York has segregation and racism, but that's a majority of the old motherfuckers who still stuck in their ways from back in their parents' time. But for the most part, big fella, you go to New York right now and you look at the teenagers out there, Black, Dominican, Haitian, Russian, Chinese, everybody in New York integrates. That segregation shit happens when you start going down south and out towards the West Coast. That's the truth of the matter. But I get your point. Y'all don't want nobody stealing your culture. I respect it. But all
let me give you an example. When you use it, you know that was a blanket statement because every place they didn't like. I was talking to my father-in-law yesterday for Christmas. He produced a lot of your great music that's been sampled by hip hop. You know, a lot of your Michael Jackson and stuff he produced. He's from Alabama. He's from Gaston, Alabama, the same city that Beyonce's father is from, Matthew Knowles. And I was talking to him about being in Gaston, Alabama during the 1940s and during the 1950s. And you know what he said? I was talking about segregation. You know what he said? He said, you know what? It wasn't that segregated because, like, school and everything. He said, because there wasn't enough kids to have segregation like that. So a lot of your white people and your black people, you know, said there were no white stores and black stores because there wasn't enough of either to support. So in the Deep South in the 40s and the 50s, a person that created a lot of music that later on got sampled by hip hop grew up in the South, but he also grew up in somewhat non-segregated because there wasn't enough people to have segregation. So the South, I'm saying that because as a New Yorker, New Yorkers can sometimes tend to grow up in a bubble. There is no monolith. There's no one experience. There is no, oh, we just here, we got this, exceptional, unique experience. My man, Eitan Edwards, who's in this book right here called Yes, Yes, Y'all. It's one of the books that tracks the early flyers in hip hop. He actually has like 4 or 5 flyers from the 1970s in his book. He's called into this show. I think this is one of his flyers right here with the Zulu Nation. He drew this flyer. He talked to me about how when hip hop was being created, we're talking about the creation of hip hop. He was talking about during that era in the early 70s, how yes, blacks and Mexicans, Puerto Ricans were definitely segregated. They didn't, according to the man that was there, and I was in the movie, a film called Microphone Check, and Coke LaRock and those guys that were in it, they were saying it was very, so we're talking about the creation. And the issue now isn't about people getting along. See, black people, black Americans, we've had to deal with this before whoever's new to this country come to where we are. In the 1890s, it was the Greeks and the Italians. In the 1920s, it was the Irish and other immigrant groups. Whoever's new to America comes to where we live.
Why is it so important now, though? But why is it
I'll tell you why
now?
it's so important now. Because now, Fat Joe is trying to rewrite history now. Busta Rhymes is trying to rewrite history now.
What his statement was,
Hip Hop 50 is trying to rewrite history now. Are you saying that we as black people should allow people to lie on our history and just not say nothing?
So hip hop wasn't created in the Bronx?
No.
So you can name a rapper before?
Yes.
Who?
Were you listening? Louis Jordan, Pig Meek Markham, James Brown. I can keep going.
James Brown wasn't a rapper.
Yes, he was, and he created the beat. He created the one.
James Brown was a rapper. I'm done.
Yes. Yeah, you're done. Bye. You see how emotional I'm glad I took that call. You see how emotional these people get? You see how emotional they get? You see how emotional they get? You can have your water cake, but give me some bucks and I'll be straight. He not only rapped, he created the beat. What's up, caller? Don't be a hoe ass nigga like the last person. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, my name is Z, man. I'm in Detroit, but I'm from the Bronx.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
Hey, man. I just wanted to address. I've been checking you out for a minute. I just wanted to address what you was talking about concerning Fat Joe. And I think I was trying to put it together, like the relationship between blacks and Puerto Ricans and so forth. And I think it really comes down to, I'm talking about in New York, but people understand, like, Fat Joe was part of the Zulu Nation. And we had issues with Puerto Ricans in the 60s and 70s. I'm 53 years old. So in the 80s, Zulu Nation was like the biggest thing in the street. More like a gang more than anything else. I mean, Bambaataa, he getting clowned today for all the things he did, which he should. You know what I mean? It was wrong. But at that time, he had some sway. And one of the things that he did was, and keep in mind in the 80s, a lot of blacks, especially in New York, was more Pan-African minded. And we didn't really know that Bambaataa was Jamaican or from Barbados. And on top of that, our mind state at that time really
just
didn't
real quick,
care.
caller, because I've been on here for a long time. I was planning on not taking no more calls. Just get right to your point so we can get to it.
I apologize. But Bambaataa had one of the things he taught the blacks and the Puerto Ricans was that Puerto Ricans and blacks were the same. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of gave some Puerto Ricans and the comfortability start using the word nigger. You know what I'm saying, more often. And when blacks used to more so check them, we was more comfortable because we think, well, you know, they are black, we all from Africa, we all have this Africa-minded thing that now is getting cleared up. You understand? And a lot of them began to overuse it. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm just trying to give some clarity to some of the history in New York that's different from other places and why on the street level, and it's seeped into hip hop, why you see a lot of them in New York more comfortable with saying that word, you know what I'm saying, more than they should be, you know what I'm saying, if at all, you know what I mean? But I'm glad that we checking it now.
Got you, my brother. You right about that, man. Thanks for that.
Yes, sir.
Have a good one. Somebody asked me, you know who else is rapping? Whoever that weird-ass caller was? Isaac Hayes, and providing the beat. Provided the beat and he was rapping. That was 1969. That's 1969. Been rapping. 69. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Oh, I'm from Pasadena, bro. Yeah, man, the dude that called in right before, bro, it's like, he's all like, yeah, I understand, you know, y'all trying to keep your shit. Then fucking shut the fuck up. Like, what's the fucking point, bro? Like, what do you want then, bro? Do you want us to lie so you can fucking feel better? Like, I don't fucking get it, bro. Like, what do you want, man? Like, fuck.
Yeah, like, that's what I'm glad you said that, because I started a show like this, and I'm going to come to the end with the same way. Look, Puerto Ricans, Jamaicans, whatever you are, you being at the party gets no love. You get no credit. You bought a ticket. No different than when I went to my Lakers to see my Lakers and Kobe Bryant win the 2010 NBA championship. I was right there. I was at the game. I was on. Matter of fact, I had seats right next to Genie Bus. But guess what?
Right, like
I don't get a ring. Everybody. I don't get a banner. Me being there don't make it my championship. But go ahead, caller.
Thank you, man. Like, yeah, bro. Like, it's for everyone. Nah, you could fucking enjoy it, bro. It's not for fucking everyone. Like, that's the goddamn shit. How long, bro? Every fucking thing we fucking make is fucking goddamn fucking taken. And niggas don't do fucking shit. Nothing, bro. And it's just fucking hilarious. Because it's fucking, well, now you have more social media and shit. Because, I mean, I know, like, people, like, invented the fucking tire. Gets patents, bro. You just buy shit. But the funny thing is, this shit is in your goddamn face. This shit is still so fucking tangible for you to fucking see it. It shouldn't even be, like, a fucking thing, bro. This shit shouldn't even be, like no one should even, be even comfortable challenging this shit. But it's like, wow, bro. That's what the fuck happens when you don't do shit. And you in a motherfucking goddamn genre, all this tough fucking fake shit, fuck nigga this, fuck nigga that, but you can't fucking do shit.
You got two more fucks. You got two more fucks. Two more fucks.
Oh, my fault, bro. I didn't. I thought it was like that. My fault, bro. Anyway, that was just all I was saying, bro. It's just like, yeah, bro. Like, it went like enough is enough. Like, clearly you're the head of the snake, bro. Like, as far as the diaspora and all that, like everyone's black, bro. But as far as like you already showed it, I've taken music history classes before too. The essence, like people follow what goes on here, bro. So it's like other people can't be disrespected. Like, why hate? Just join the thing, man. Like, it's like we not hating on no one else. Like the original. I don't know how deep, because I came in the video kind of late. But the thing about the Afro-Spanish music is beautiful, right? But you still see an essence of that from like the Congo and stuff. I don't know. I'm not an expert, bro. I don't know. I know what I know, right? But as far as the American blacks that weren't under Spanish and French rule and shit, their shit was all cut off, bro. They didn't have no type of roots with their music. And we made the most ingenious shit. How you have nothing, bro, and make funk music, bro? Nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like the Spanish music, you still had like a little bit of foundation to work off. So how do you hate on us?
Yeah, y'all gotta have more of a direct. Y'all even got to keep y'all instruments. We had to create some shit new.
That's what I'm saying. And we the top shit. So how do you hate on that, bro?
Because they hate themselves, man. But thanks for giving us a call, my brother.
Yeah, no problem.
You have a good one. Yeah. Appreciate the Cash App, AH. But yeah, now you're right. So, but this is it. I did today's video so you guys can have all the ammunition you need to talk moving forward about what it really is, all right? I can't take no more calls because it's Christmas Day and I got to go kick it with my wife, all right? Thank y'all again for listening. There are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages for those willing to pick up the game. Go to thewanb.com, go to blisscapsules.com, and sign up for the Patreon, all right? We put up a lot of dope stuff on Patreon over the last week. Tethered and torn. You're only torn if you're a tether. If you're an immigrant and you got respect for us, let me close out by saying this, people. Anybody that has respect for themselves, one, and number two, Black America, has no issue with us talking like this. It first starts out with self-respect. You cannot respect anybody else if you don't respect yourself. And you cannot respect somebody else's culture if you don't respect your own. So the key to this is knowing that the pathway to agreement, to making all this cool, is everybody respect themselves and respect their culture. Jamaica has dope music. Puerto Rico, every place has their own sound that deserve a high level of respect. You have your own legends, your own instrumentation, your own melodies, your own harmonies, your own phrasing. Love that and appreciate that. And when you love ours and appreciate ours too, but have respect for your mama and your daddy and your grandmama and your grandpappy. That's all we saying. All right? And let's stop being ashamed to go all the way. No, black people, we ain't got to share shit. There's nothing to be shared. There's nothing to share. When you talk about these electric instruments that they brought in, those electric instruments were brought in to bastardize our sound and make it easier for people who can't play our sound. Gets no credit for that shit. All right? Respect our struggle, respect our genius, and respect our gangster. We out.